Karen reported a garden hose as trespassing, then cut it and got fined. What would you do if your neighbor called the cops on your garden hose? In the quiet cul-de-sac of Maplewood Lane, where tidy lawns and friendly waves define the norm, a single act of spite turned a peaceful afternoon into a neighborhood scandal. Karen Whitaker, the self-appointed guardian of property lines, stood on her porch, arms crossed, glaring at the offending object. A green garden hose snaking across her driveway. It belonged to her neighbor, Mia Torres, a single mom who just moved in with her 2 kids and a passion for gardening. The hose, barely crossing an inch onto Karen's concrete, was watering Mia's budding flower beds. To Karen, though, it was an invasion, a deliberate slap in the face. She didn't knock on Mia's door or leave a note. Instead, she dialed 911, her voice dripping with indignation as she reported the hose for trespassing. The dispatcher, baffled, sent Officer Daniels to defuse what sounded like a prank call. When Daniels arrived, he found Karen waving her arms, pointing at the hose like it was a criminal. Mia, confused, apologized profusely, explaining she'd been setting up her sprinkler system and hadn't noticed the hose's slight overlap. Daniels, suppressing a chuckle, suggested Mia move it and told Karen to let it go. Case closed, or so he thought. Mia, embarrassed but eager to keep the peace, dragged the hose back to her side, double-checking the property line with a tape measure. She even baked Karen a batch of cookies as a goodwill gesture, leaving them on her doorstep with a note, "Sorry for the mix-up. Let's be good neighbors." Karen tossed the cookies in the trash without a second glance. But the hose incident wasn't over. Karen's resentment simmered. She'd spent years policing Maplewood Lane, complaining about loud barbecues, untidy hedges, even kids' chalk drawings on the sidewalk. Mia's arrival, with her vibrant garden and warm smiles, threatened Karen's control. The hose became her obsession, a symbol of defiance. Late one evening, under the cover of dusk, Karen grabbed her pruning shears and marched to Mia's yard. With a vicious snip, she severed the hose in 2, water gushing wildly, soaking her shoes. She smirked, imagining Mia's panic. What Karen didn't know was that Mia's teenage son, Leo, was filming from his bedroom window, capturing every second of her sabotage. The next morning, Mia stared at her ruined hose, water pooling in her flower beds, drowning her carefully planted marigolds. Her heart sank. She'd saved for months to build that garden, a haven for her kids after a tough year. Leo showed her the video, his voice shaking with anger. "That's her, Mom. Karen did this." Mia's first instinct was to confront Karen, but she hesitated. She'd dealt with bullies before and knew rushing in could backfire. Instead, she called Officer Daniels back, showed him the footage, and filed a vandalism report. Daniels, now serious, paid Karen a visit. Karen denied everything, claiming the hose must have been old and split on its own. Her smugness faltered when Daniels mentioned the video. "You sure about that, ma'am?" he asked, eyebrow raised. Enter Mrs. Patel, the neighborhood's quiet observer, who'd been watching Karen's antics for years. A retired lawyer, Mrs. Patel had kept a detailed log of Karen's complaints, every HOA violation she'd filed, every petty dispute she'd escalated. Unbeknownst to Karen, Mrs. Patel had also seen her toss Mia's cookies and overheard her muttering about teaching that woman a lesson. At the HOA meeting that week, Mrs. Patel stood up, her calm voice cutting through the room's murmurs. She presented Mia's video, now uploaded to the neighborhood's private group chat, alongside her own records. The twist? Karen's own security camera had caught her sneaking into Mia's yard. A detail Leo's video missed, but Mrs. Patel's sharp eyes hadn't. The room gasped. Karen's reign of terror was unraveling. The confrontation exploded at the meeting. Karen, cornered, lashed out, accusing Mia of provoking her with the hose and claiming the neighborhood was going downhill because of outsiders. Mia, usually soft-spoken, stood her ground. "I just wanted to grow flowers for my kids," she said, her voice cracking. "Why destroy that?" The crowd turned on Karen. Neighbors shared their own stories. Her complaints about their dogs barking, her threats to tow a visitor's car, her snide remarks about messy yards. The HOA president, fed up, announced Karen would face a fine for vandalism $500, plus the cost of Mia's hose and damaged plants. Worse, the HOA voted to ban Karen from filing complaints for a year, stripping her of her power. Karen's downfall was swift. The fine hit her hard, but the shame stung worse. Neighbors stopped waving. Her complaints, once feared, were now ignored. Mia's garden, rebuilt with donations from the community, bloomed brighter than ever, a symbol of resilience. Leo's video went viral in the neighborhood chat, dubbed Karen's Hose Havoc, with memes circulating for weeks. Karen, humiliated, put her house up for sale, but no one bit word had spread too far. She'd become the cautionary tale of Maplewood Lane. In the end, Mia's flowers thrived, and so did her bond with her neighbors. Mrs. Patel became her mentor, teaching her kids to garden. Officer Daniels even dropped by with a new hose, joking it was trespass-proof. The cul-de-sac felt lighter, freer, as if Karen's spite had been a cloud lifted. Mia's garden, once a target, now hosted barbecues where neighbors laughed and shared stories. One question lingered. Was Karen's rage her own doing? Or did the neighborhood's silence enable her too long? Share your thoughts. What's the line between standing up and stirring trouble?